Hello, how's everyone doing? Today we are back with another video, and today I will be going over how to counter impure thoughts in the realm of Brahmacharya, in the realm of day-to-day life, for people that are in the journey of semen retention, in the journey of being an aspirant, etc. So without further ado, let's begin. Impure thoughts that arise at the sight of a woman will gradually vanish when you grow in purity through regular japa and meditation. It takes some time to destroy the old vicious samskaras and overhaul the mental factory. So guys, in our previous video, we spoke about how impressions start off in the mind and then these become actions. Therefore, it's essential to essentially rewire the way you think in order to maintain pure thoughts. Because if you do not rewire your thinking, you will always succumb to the same traps, to the same occurrences, and to the same downfall of the mind, to your temptations and lust. So, with regular meditation, japa, and changing your thought processes, you will have more pure thoughts and you won't be breaking your neck as many men do at the sight of a lustrous figure. And I've lived in Brooklyn for a large part of my life since birth. And for the most part, most men are intrinsically in their lowest nature, their most animalistic sense. Whenever they see a woman walk by, they just break their necks to look at the rear end or whatever phenotypical part of the body, whether that be any parts, because they are thinking lustrously. They think with lust. They think with temptation. And because the impressions that are made are happening in the mind. So we look at this cycle of karma. It starts from samskara, or the impression in the mind, then a tendency, or what we know as vasana, into vritti, a thought pattern. Okay, so when you're at the thought pattern, it's like a loop. It's like muscle memory at this point. The hippocampus is attached to all lobes of the brain: the parietal, the temporal, the frontal, the occipital. All these lobes of the brain are interconnected by the hippocampus. Therefore, it's essential to understand that the impressions you have remain in your mind. Think about your favorite food. The scent of an apple pie. The scent, the taste. The impressions you have of it. You can always travel the astral and think about this time when you were eating this delicious apple pie. The same thing is the same thing for impressions of lust. You must rewire the way you think of lust, whether it's a man or a woman, in order to create different vrittis, different thought patterns. And these different vrittis will allow for different forms of action. In our previous video, in the forbidden fruit, we talked about how everything is almost premeditated. Thoughts end up becoming in the physical plane. Again and again, raise pure, counter thoughts in the mind. Bring up the image of the Lord again and again. Try to feel Atma in women by forgetting the sex idea and create disgust in mind by analysis of the parts of which the body is composed. Like we mentioned in many of our videos, the lust, the sexual prowess is very, very, very powerful. It's one of the last things to leave the body at the time of decomposition, at the time of death, or the time of renewal of the soul. It's essential that you learn that it is nothing more than just a mortal vessel, right? It is your mind creating this lustrous thought. It is your mind creating this self-stirred phallus. It is always going to be a continuation of the byproduct of your thoughts. Therefore, if you find something disgusting, you won't necessarily indulge in it. The more you have a strong passion for something, the more you're going to want to entertain these lustful thoughts, which will lead you to impurity. Now, am I saying you can't be attracted to the opposite sex or even the same sex? I'm not saying you can't be attracted, but in terms of receiving Atman in this lifetime, or your journey in semen retention or Brahmacharya, it's essential to train your mind to be pure. And this is one of the options you can take. Seeing pure disgust, but not portraying disgust, but rather allowing yourself to remove lustful thinking. That's the essence, is to remove these lustful thoughts. Whenever the mind runs towards attractive women with lustful thoughts, have a definitive, clear-cut photo in the mind of the flesh, bone, urine, fecal matter, and perspiration of which women are composed. This also includes men as well, for we are all part of the same human nature and human construction of the anatomy. So many men are so gazed upon these reproductive parts, whether they are the breasts, whether they're the uterus, the vaginal canal, the rear end. We're at a point in society where women now extenuate these parts. They make these parts massive, whether this is a BBL, breast implants, lip implants, Botox, etc. Things to create phenotypical differences to stir the mind of a man. That's the point in society which we are at, which many people can say this has been happening for a long time, whether this is the use of makeup to extenuate the look of what a sexual act would look like, the rosy cheeks, the red lips, the eyes popping out, etc., etc. But at the end of the time, if you see every vessel for a bunched up human with a bunch of organs bunched in, you would see it for what it truly is. A vessel of consumption and excretion, as well as a mortal vessel, which will come to death soon. And with you, as a man, you will face a little death every time you lose this life force. Not a full death, but a little death. So it's essential to have a very vigilant mind, like we explained in the previous video. The stronger you are in your mind, you can conquer anything in this cosmos. Many of you men have fallen to submission in marriage, fallen to submission because of your lusts, fallen astray because of you not being able to handle your sexual prowess. Think about all the problems these men face today. It is because of this initial sexual act. They are refusing to leave because they are so intrinsically entertained by the animalistic mind. The reptilian brain is the lowest part of the brain. If you guys really want to check out triune brain in depth, please check it out because I go over the 3 parts of the brain. The neocortex, which is the biggest part of the brain, even though it is the biggest part, the supercomputer of the human brain, the cerebrum will still be overpowered by this sexual thought. Okay? Because in nature, animals reproduce, plants reproduce, but humans are the ones that are able to truly not reproduce by choice. This will induce disgust and vairagya in the mind. You will never commit the sin of unchaste look at a woman. It takes some time, no doubt. Ladies can also practice the foregoing method and keep a mental picture of men in just the same way. It's essential, guys. When you're on this journey, temptations come. Lust comes in many forms, shapes, sizes, etc. It comes in looks, words, anything in the physical plane, right? That's why I say when you close your eyes, this is the truth. This is the void. This is the ultimate and infinite God of Kether, the infinite Brahman. But when your eyes are open, all you see is sense perceptions. That is all you will see. And in essence, I call this Brahma playing hide and seek, or Brahma playing mind games with you. So, from Swami Vivekananda, the chief helps in this liberation are Abhyasa and Vairagya. Vairagya is a non-attachment to life because it is the will to enjoy that brings all this bondage in its train. And Abhyasa is constant practice of any one of the yogas. Vairagya will help you in this life. Many of your torments, many of your sadness, many of the terrors you feel is because of your attachments. There's an image of a man holding onto a rope so tightly, and it's almost hindering and damaging his palm because he will not let go. Let go of the attachments in the physical world, latching things down. Whether you put things in the shackles of marriage, whether you put things in the shackles of a contract, whether you own something, these are all shackles to put your mind at a somewhat poise or ease of which never existed in the first place. In the animal kingdom, things are run by brute force. Animals do this because that is how they run the kingdom. This is why they claim that the lion is the king of the jungle. Humans, on the other hand, put things in contracts in constructual societal sense to have power over things, to have control over things, to have things based off fear. Fear of loss, fear of control. This is not me saying the institution of marriage is a fear-based institution, even though that is one perspective to go about it, but rather to put things in shackles in the physical plane is a reason Vairagya is so important. This non-attachment to life is essential because it allows for so many beautiful things to happen in blissful ways. The more you are attached to outcome, the more than likely that outcome will not transpire. The more than likely you will be disappointed. You should develop not only disgust in your mind, but also fear in order to get rid of the sex idea. Are you not extremely frightened when a cobra comes right in front of you? This must be the state of your mind when lustful thoughts enter your mind. Then only the sex attraction will gradually die. Now this could be an exaggeration, but for people that are truly embedded in this journey, they know that this is necessary. They know that just the slightest ounce of thought processes in the samskara, the impression of a lustful thought, can lead to an action. The company of who you are with can lead to these actions. So it's essential to be vigilant in your thinking, vigilant in your japa, vigilant in your meditation, and fearful of losing this potent energy. You shouldn't be fearful of the opposite gender or of anybody or any social construct. You should be fearful of the loss of your own magnificent, magnanimous, beautiful, omnipotent energy. That is what's so important. This attractive force is the life ether that gives life to everything in this cosmos. Therefore, it's essential to recognize this power, harness this power, be in control of this power. Do not let this power overpower you. Inflict self-punishment if the mind runs towards women with lustful ideas. Give up night meals. Do 20 malas or more japa. Always wear a kapan or langoti. Okay. So guys, if you fall astray, your mind starts thinking lustfully, you can do things to create this muscle memory. Doing things such as more prayer, more meditation to avoid these thoughts are beneficial. It's written here as self-punishment, but don't think of it as that way. Think of it as a training grounds, training your mind to get to where you want to be. It's not punishment if it's exactly where you want to be. It's an inevitable. You want to be somewhere, right? You want a goal. You want to reach Atman. You want to reach something beyond the physical plane. Therefore, it's essential that when you have these thoughts, you meditate more. You do more mala prayers with your japa. You find ways to make these impressions change. You look for ways to not fall into the same cycle that you always fall into. This is essential because many people that are still commenting on my never relapse science of semen retention there's people that go on streaks, and then there's people that come and say they broke their streak. So it's essential because more than likely they're falling into the same cycle that they were always falling into. How do we break free from these cycles, right? It's essential to stay away from social media, which is conditioning you so heavily into the sexual prowess. If you open Instagram Reels right now, every single thing you would see is directly fathoming this sexual prowess, harnessing and using this to put people in their lowest animalistic mind. Truly, truly, a very destructive app that can be used for great good, bringing people together, expressing love, showing gratitude, businesses, etc., things of that nature. But for the young men, I know it's very, very harmful to see this much at such a young age, right? While I consider the internet and a phone very powerful, it's like a thesaurus, but it's also an entrance to an ether time space. Right now, as you watch my videos, you are in my ether time space, my domain, my time space. This is an ether time space. You listen to these words, you watch the video. This is the same thing as watching anything else. You enter that time space. So your mind will be you will be more or less conditioned, in essence. You will be programmed, in essence. You will be learning, you will be seeing, and these will become impressions. And like we already said earlier, these impressions form into thought patterns. Thought patterns form into these cycles that you go through in life. Every thought is important. Every word you say is important. Every breath is important. Understand this, fellas, brothers, sisters, friends. Do not look at a woman with an evil eye. If she is old, treat her as your mother. If she is young, as your sister. And if very young, as your child. You may fail to develop the bhav that all women are your mothers and sisters 101 times. It does not matter. Stick to your practice tenaciously. You are bound to succeed eventually. Now, this is the problem with lust, right? It's so strong that you don't even see these women for who they truly are. Mothers, daughters, grandmothers, aunts. You see them in a very animalistic sense, which is the worst mindset to be in, worst impression to have yourself in. It's essential to tenaciously be vigilant in your thinking, right? You must see them as you would see your sister, as you would see your own daughter, as you would see your own mother, right? And I know this because I know many men who joke around about this, right? They always joke around, but when they finally have a daughter, it is a whole different story. They become very fragile in this essence. But where was this fragility when you didn't have a daughter? When you saw them as pieces of meat? When you saw them as nothing more than a rag? But this is how time tells, right? This is not me, putting them up in a line and judging them, but rather, you must have this sincerity in the mind. You must be vigilant in your thinking because everything is so important. Your words are so important. Your perception is so important. Your impressions of life is so important. Life itself is so important. So for the men out there that aren't fathers yet, or that don't view women as their mothers, sisters, or grandmothers, or women of nature, until they finally have a daughter, and then fear truly strikes. Because they were thinking, well, once upon a time I felt this way. Once upon a time I felt astray like this. Once upon a time I viewed them as this. And only after they finally have their seed enter this world, it truly comes to fruition on how they truly feel. Do not wait until you have a daughter to truly feel this way. You should always see every woman, see every man as a brother or sister. Okay? It's essential to do this because the sexual prowess is so overpowering. It is so overpowering. But at the same time, your mind is the most powerful thing in this world. It is able to create, destroy, preserve. The cerebrum is a beautiful thing. So, in that sense, you cannot look at women with an evil eye. You must see them for what they truly are. Your daughters, your mothers, your grandmothers. And stick to this practice tenaciously. And you will succeed in your japa, your meditation, receiving Atmans. You will receive it without no doubt when you are mentally pure, extremely pure. When you walk on the road, do not hither and thither like a monkey. Look at the tip of your right big toe and walk gently with a gambhir attitude. Or look at the ground and walk. This is a great helping in maintaining Brahmacharya. You can look at the tip of the nose also. So guys, when you walk out in the cosmos, when you're walking out on open ground, you will face many people of the opposite sex. You will face people of the same sex. Your mind will start to wander. You will see things that are attractive to you. When you are on this journey as an aspirant, it's essential that you learn how to walk while not using your energy to look and break your neck to look at things or look at the opposite gender in such a negative way. I'm not saying that you should just directly avoid anyone, but rather be very diligent and vigilant on how you are perceiving things. From the moment I was young, I've always been very good at seeing things in hindsight, in foresight. I could be looking at the floor and I could see anything in this spherical vision. I could see if someone's looking at me. I could see if someone's moving without ever looking at them. I've learned and maintained this for many, many years. I can see when someone's coming this way. I could see. It's almost like a hindsight. Something you guys will get to when you get to this point. You will get to a point where you can see so much without ever looking. You could be looking at the floor and you could feel energy. You could see energy. You could know what's going to happen. Guys, so I have the picture of Mother here because Mother sharingan is something you could probably get. You're not going to have a sharingan that, those red eyes with the tomboys and whatnot, but rather you will be very selective on how you look at things because what you're looking at is an impression. What you're looking at will become a thought pattern. Therefore, it's essential to be very vigilant on what you look at, right? It's essential, guys. So when you're walking out into the cosmos, out in nature, your mind is the controller. Your body is, in essence, the receiver of everything, of all the blood that's moving, of everything that's happening. It's a receiver. The eyes act as a receiver also. So be very diligent when you're walking out in open ground, okay? A child of the immortal essence, thou hast walked for a long time with lustful eyes. Apply the collyrium of discrimination and the pigment of vichar. You will have a magnanimous vision. The whole world will appear to you as a mass of crystallized bliss. You will find no evil, no ugliness. When you walk this path, guys, you will start to see things without discrimination. Like I said, when you release any attachments to this world, the prejudice that they try to teach you, the separation that they try to teach you, these castes, these social constructs, once you remove all these things from your mind, you see it for a magnanimous, blissful creation that it is, the infinite Brahman. Everything is Brahman in disguise. And when you realize that, the whole world is at your hands. It's beautiful, guys. And I truly mean this first sentence. O child of the immortal essence. The soul is immortal, guys. The physical body is just a piece of meat walking through this ether that will soon, eventually give out. But the soul is eternal. This is forever. This is you. The mark of your soul is right on your forehead, or the seat of the soul that Rene Descartes knows, the pineal. This is who you are. You are not this body. You are more than that. As Kratos of old said, you will always be more than that. There is no denying, however, that lust is a powerful force to overcome somebody, asked Raja Yudhisthira. Oh, Yudhisthira, when you look at your mother Kunti, is your look absolutely chaste? Yudhisthira replied, I cannot say that my look is entirely pure. Such is the force of lust. Guys, like in our previous video and many videos, lust is so powerful that men cannot control their lust. They may not act out on these actions, but the thought patterns that occur lead to their downfall. It leads to the downfall of many things, right? And we see here the picture of many of the sins: anger, lust, greed, pride, etc. These are all in a culmination of what's transpiring in just the mind alone. The mind is a temple, and it could fall, and it can also grow. Lust and anger are almost two sides of the same coin. You may say outwardly, I regard her as my mother, I consider her as my sister, though you may not do anything outwardly on account of religious fear or lakalaja. Mentally, you are not what you should be. So, you can say these things, but if you are having these thoughts, you are not fully where you need to be yet. Now, the first step is to be physically chaste. Yes, that is true. You can do this. Many men are good at the physical prowess. They're great at restricting their diets, great at not taking in alcohol, not smoking, being very diligent on their protein intake, very diligent in the physical plane. But when it comes to these thoughts, thinking of anger, thinking of vengeance, thinking of lust in such a immense way, you're not where you need to be yet. The entirety of the Trinity includes breath, mind, and the body. The three have to be interlocked to you to be at your full potential. The mind will run in wrong directions. It will be doing havoc silently. Various kinds of evils, thoughts, and desires will arise in your mind. Desire or thought is more than the act. When you are put to test silently, you will fail hopelessly. You will not be able to have physical control even. Everything is a byproduct of the mind. It is said that God created the world with thought and mind and speech. It is all part of a thought. That's why I explain as semen is a thought. It is a thought. Women that have the vessel to receive this thought. It's the contrast of light and darkness, the sun and the moon, the day and the night. This is the contrast of life. The life itself, right? So it's essential, guys, that your mind is pure. You're vigilant. You're doing your meditation because these things are happening silently. Sometimes your thoughts may not even be your own because the lust is so strong. It may even try to overpower you. You have to be strong, fellas, ladies, brothers, sisters, friends. The mind is an amazing place. The mind can be an evil place if you allow it to be. And silently, you will be put to the test. And the longer you go on this journey, more and more temptations will stumble upon your way. But this is God's test to the aspirant. Whether you pass or fail is solely up to the strength that you have, solely up to how you think silently. I would just like to go back real quick on the terms of when you're walking on the road. I'm going to now include a clip here that shows Might Guy and how he battles against Itachi. Itachi known for using sharingan or mind delusion on his opponents. Might Guy's defense to this is to only watch people's feet while they fight. An excellent way to walk through this cosmos, to not be detoured by anything or anyone, because you can always hear words, but the actions are what matters. So I will include this clip as well. So yes.
何者です。バイトガイ。珍獣の間違いであの人がまくんであり。イタチかしよここまで。イタチと目を合わせるなかい。シャリンガンに対する戦い方も考慮して。二人とも目を開けろ。目を合わせなければ問題ない。手を見て動きを洞察し対処する。言われてみればそうかもしれないけど。お前だけだぞ。今すぐ慣れろ。
There is nothing, however, that a sadhaka cannot achieve if he sets his mind to it. The greater the difficulty, the greater the glory of success. Try, and try again. Train yourself not to look at a woman for some time. The removal of any external stimuli will help you. The removal of any apps, the removal of anything that is hindering your way is essential, guys. Anything that you think is hindering you, any external stimuli that's hindering you, must be removed. Train yourself. Because the greater the difficulty, the greater the success, right? Anything that comes easy is not something you want. Anything that seems free or is free may cost your soul. The things that are extremely difficult in this lifetime are the most worth it. Every single time. If you're unable to do this and find your looks straying up to a woman with lustful purpose, raise in your mind the image of a corpse or a skeleton or wrinkled, diseased, old woman and keep it till you are filled with disgust. Then, this will enable you to succeed finally in subduing passion. Guys, the mind can play tricks on you. It's essential that you are the trickster. You are the master. You control your senses, and the senses do not overwhelm you. The master of nature. Guys, fellas, friends, ladies, sisters, brothers. When I say you should imagine a corpse or a skeleton, a wrinkled person, yes. Essentially, this is what you will end up becoming. This youthful vigor is only momentarily. It's momentarily. Everything in this physical plane comes to an end. But the infinite Brahman that created it all is forever. Everyone's microcosm will come to cease. But the macrocosm is eternal forever. So whatever it takes to remove this lust from your mind is essential. Whether you're thinking of a corpse, a skeleton, anything. Just thinking of them as another animal is the best thing to go with. For you to overcome lust, for you to triumphantly destroy lust out of your mind. For you are the master of your own cosmos. At the same time, take refuge in Devi's lotus feet. Pray to her constantly for strength to withstand and conquer the onslaughts of passion. Look upon every woman as Sri Devi herself and do mental prostration to her at sight, repeating Om Sri Durga Devya Nama. Be vigilant and constant sadhana. Like the above, you can gradually eradicate the powerful enemy. Now, you don't have to pray to Sri Devi herself. You can pray to whatever entity you want. You're free to do what you want. You're free to believe what you want. It's essential, though. You control your thoughts. You control your impressions. For these impressions become part of reality. Okay? Thoughts make up reality. Thoughts become thought patterns. These thought patterns become actions, and actions become out into the physical plane. So guys, this has been how to counter impure thoughts in the realms of Brahmacharya. Another video in our Brahmacharya playlist. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for all the comments. Thank you guys for all the likes, everything you guys do does not go unnoticed. Thank you guys once again for tuning in on how to counter impure thoughts. I hope this video helps you realize something within yourself that is interconnected with all of us. All life is interconnected, like a heart, pulling on the strings of each other. We are all connected. We are all one. And soon enough, we will all become one again. So thank you guys so much. And I'm glad I had another opportunity to make a video like this. It always means so much when I get a chance to put out videos like this that truly, truly touch hearts. Thank you guys so much.